What's going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? What's going on with y'all? Got this really amazing on for my solar return for my birthday this weekend. So awesome. Right now we're listening to the sounds of Carlos Nakai, very famous uh, native flute player. You can actually just find this on YouTube if you just type in native flute music. It's probably one of the first ones that comes up. This one's called Earth Spirit. Very famous flute player. Actually, it inspired me to want to play flute. I try to listen to this as much as I can because I just it's so soothing. What is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters? Welcome to Astro Phoenix and welcome to another weekly installment of the weekly astrological report. I am making this on Monday the 19th. However, this report is actually going to run from Sunday the 18th, yesterday, until Saturday the 24th. So this week was a little bit interesting only because, like I said, my birthday was this past Saturday, so I didn't get around to making the video then, and I worked all day yesterday. I have the day off today, so figured it will be a very opportune moment to discuss the weekly energies, and I will, of course, I probably will talk about certain aspects astrologically this week, but I also will just be kind of just going with the flow of things and channeling. You know how we do here. So thank you all so much for joining me. And how has your Scorpio transit gone? I'm probably going to make another video either tonight or tomorrow. It depends on how it comes up within my spirit, within my soul, about like just like a Scorpio recap video. I don't know if I'll do a channeled message or if I'll do like a tarot or an oracle reading, or maybe both. Why not both? Hey, why not both? So this has been a very, very important, powerful, transformational Scorpio season, as they usually are. This is probably one of the first Scorpio seasons. Not that I haven't been aware of them in the past, but this is probably one of the first ones where I've been like really hyper aware of all the energies that have been coming through this vessel and just what we are all exposed to. It's been quite a powerful shift. I don't know if I'm sure you guys can feel it. Just so much crazy things that are happening during the Scorpio season transit and just during this year in general. And it's like, I thought the Scorpio season is really setting us up for, of course, the rest of the year, which is going to be, it's going to be awesome because it's like we're really going to start to go on this grand adventure. And I feel like, baby steps, baby steps. We'll get to Sagittarius soon enough. We'll get Sagittarius actually this week on Thanksgiving. The sun will actually slip into Sagittarius Thursday morning. So Sagittarius is very much so about the holidays and about partying and about that coming together to celebrate. And how applicable is it that, with Thanksgiving, it falls on a different day every year. It was the fourth Thursday in the month. How applicable that this year it falls on the day that the sun moves into Sagittarius. Like, you can't get any more synchronized than that, you know what I'm saying? Not only that, but it's the 22nd, so you got 2-2. So you got snake eyes there. You got 2-2, which is, of course, talking about the master builder. 22 is the number of the master builder, the master architect. But yeah, how are y'all doing? what's going on with you all? How have you experienced this transformation? It's been a very humbling transformation. I will definitely say super humbling, this transformation that we were all going through, that we were all exposed to. Um, what I've learned is that I actually I actually can allow myself to have sustained moments of peace, which is crazy. That's actually something I've been struggling with. I've been struggling with, if I have a moment of peace, if I have a moment of clarity, if I have a moment of happiness and joy, I have this part of me that won't allow me to really experience that moment in its depth and in its fullness, because a part of my mind is projecting that something bad's going to happen, or I need to prepare for something bad to happen. And that's it's a defense mechanism, because it's a defense mechanism, and there's nothing even per se wrong with it. It's just whether or not it feels right with me right now, my vibration. There can be moments, I just noticed it before I came on here. I went outside and had a meditation, and there were a few moments during that meditation where I noticed that I would have like this kind of these weird visions that were coming through, but and these visions wouldn't last long. I've gotten to the point where that if I have a weird vision that tries to knock me off my piece or try to knock me off my groove or my game, I do allow that image to really just like flow by. I've been learning to do that more and more, but still practice is still an everyday practice. The spiritual journey, it's an everyday thing. It's not like you don't go to a spiritual assembly, i.e. church, one day and you're done with your work for the week. No, you have to do this is an everyday thing, you know. And I'm not even saying people that go to church do it just that day. I know there are plenty of people out there that read their Bible every day, and that do engage within the spiritual practice and do engage with whatever is it, the way that they connect, whether they connect to Jesus, whether they connect to Buddha or Krishna or Allah, whatever it is. Just know that whatever you're doing, it is an everyday thing. It's not something that you just do one time a week or even two times a week. Um, it's kind of interesting how it actually how church is actually on Wednesday, which is the day of the mind. It's kind of interesting because Wednesday is ruled by Mercury. Mercury in many ways has to deal with the mind. And I even said in my report today, my daily reading, how I felt like Mercury, the trine between the moon and Mercury today, was when it really set the tone for the day. And of course, today's Monday, so it's the day of the moon. So it's like you would think that the moon has a lot of pull and a lot to say on today, and it kind of does. And I even noticed today that there were moments when I was engaging with my fiance in conversation and stuff, and we were going about our morning and stuff, and how there are little, like, overall everything was fine and stuff like that. But I noticed how there were like moments where it's almost like the very small and minuscule things that come up that we attach ourselves to a certain ideal or a certain way that we feel like it should be or think it should be. Even just these small things can cause suffering within us, and it can cause us to hurt ourselves and to hurt other people. And I noticed that, and it wasn't intentional, but I noticed that, she did it to me, I did it to her. So it's not even just like, oh, I'm a victim. I'm not a victim. I'm not going to embrace that consciousness. I'm a victor. But I was aware of it as it was happening, and she was aware of it too in her own way. And as the day progressed, it was cool and it was gravy. We didn't have any arguments. It was just like a weird off energy, And she said she was feeling a little off and stuff. And there are moments today where I was too, and that's okay. That's actually a beautiful indication that you are in line with the flow of these energies and with spirit. We're not supposed to be in 100% alignment, whatever that is. Alignment where you're aligned to that highest perspective. There's this romantic view within the New Age spiritual community that the image of what we're trying to reach is that standard image that you see on Instagram posts and Facebook posts where it shows someone meditating under a tree or with the sun in the background or whatever. They're meditating with some stones, whatever, and that they have a smile on their face and that everything is peace, 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 hunky dory, beautiful, nothing wrong could ever happen. And we're in 100% alignment 100% of the day, 100% of every moment. And that's just false. That's just a false narrative. And what we need to learn is this balance and integration of that. Because, like I said, even for me earlier, I know there are moments where I wasn't fully in line with this obtaining of peace of mind and this calmness and this silence, and how it's in the silence that the truth actually has the ability to speak. Because what happens a lot of times is that we hear this voice over here, we hear this voice over here, it's like yap, 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 yap. And here's the thing, the truth is not going to object. The truth is not going to try and force the issue. That's the great thing and beautiful thing about the truth and how divine it is that the truth is patient. The truth will wait. The truth is like that teacher who won't talk over the class. The truth is like the teacher that will stand at the front of the class and be silent until the class shuts up. And it's awkward, and they're just standing there, and they're looking at you, and they're just like, I have all day. Well, the truth is like, I have all day. And of course the truth has all day, because the truth is the only thing that exists, right? So when we attach ourselves to these false narratives, to these false ideologies, to these thought patterns of the way that we think things should be, and then we try to inject what we think things should be, and we try to inject these self-limiting beliefs into a moment or a circumstance or something that has evolved out of that moment. You know, the results of it, and it's like, oh, I wanted it to be this way, but it came out this way, and then we can make ourselves suffer by holding on to that, or we can let it go. So, and like I said, there's nothing wrong, absolutely nothing wrong with not being in alignment 100% of the day. And God, Goddess, Source Perspective does not expect you to, because how else will you grow? How else will you learn? How else will you evolve? Right? But the other important lesson is that you can have sustainable moments of peace that can last. And I think that's what we want. We want to be able to create moments of peace that do last. And we don't want to, there's nothing wrong with prepping for the future. There's nothing wrong with being cautious, but sometimes we can be overly cautious. Sometimes we can be overly prepared, where we're just like timid and we're worried that something's out to get us. We just gotta let go and let loose and relax. Let go, let loose, and relax. How's everyone doing? I know we have some people watching. How are y'all doing today? I hope you all are enjoying the moment. Hope you all have enjoyed your Scorpio transit. I know I have. And I really do feel like this Scorpio transit has given me new purpose and new life, even though looking at where I am right now, I'm not exactly where I thought I was going to be. When I started out this year, and looking back at where I thought I was going to be at the beginning of this year, at this point, and now seeing where I am, yeah, I might not be exactly where I want to be, but I've come so damn far, and so have you. So give yourself a fucking round of applause, because you are here in this moment. Yahoo! Like, I don't think you realize how awesome that is. We have been through a lot. I hope you guys know that. We've been burned alive, right? But this is actually what's going to create gold. This is what's going to make us into diamonds. We have 2 more days of Scorpio. Because I think the sun is going to shift into Sagittarius on Thursday morning. So we have 2 more full days of the Scorpio energy. We have Tuesday and we have Wednesday, which honestly, these days are if you look at the energy, it's going to be intense simply because it's the edge of Scorpio. But as far as like astrological stuff happening, these are probably some of the least intensive days of the week, believe it or not. It's when the sun shifts into Sagittarius. Oh my goodness, that's going to be huge. Then, of course, we have this full moon in Gemini at 0 degrees, which will be making, I'm actually going to be going live talking about this on Wednesday. So if you happen to not be doing anything or you want to just come in for a little bit, whether you watch the whole video or not, I try to keep those in and around an hour or so. But, you know, we're subject to go longer because we really get into it here, right? But I will be going live for the full moon in Gemini at 11 a.m. on Wednesday. So I know a lot of people will be at work. Some of y'all may be on your lunch break. So if you happen to be on your lunch break, come and chill out with us. Come chill out with me here, Astro Phoenix, and we could talk about this very powerful full moon in Gemini, which even though it's Sag season, it has a lot of Scorpio energy in this full moon. So be prepared for that, for Thursday to be a really huge day. But like I said, before we get there, we do have 2 more full days of this Scorpio energy. Now, what is Scorpio? Now, let's just run through the basic thing with Scorpio is, of course, yes, Scorpio does rule sex, obviously. Rules the taboo, the shadows, the darker areas, the deeper desires. It's the house of shared resources. So if you think about that, you know, fixed water being the shared resource, what we are sharing is this, if you think about this watery energy, this spiritual energy, we actually share this energy, this emotion, or this energy in motion. It's something that we all share. And since it's the 8th sign of the zodiac and it deals with death and rebirth, it also deals with the infinite abundance, infinite prosperity. So something that we all share is this infinite abundance, this infinite prosperity. Look at what's opposite of Scorpio, because it's the flip side of the coin. And on the other side, we have Taurus energy. Taurus, of course, about practicality, grounding, money, value, self-esteem. So this whole Scorpio transit that we've been going through, and of course we do also have Uranus, which was in Taurus, you know, making opposition to the Scorpio energy, going back into Aries, which is ruled by Mars, which is a co-ruler of Scorpio. So the Scorpio energy has been here this whole time. And we have been really uncovering, obviously, these deeper desires and these deeper wants. And we have been asking ourselves whether or not these deeper desires, do they warrant just a quick fix, or are they actually going to bring us something that is more sustainable in the long term? The reason why I say that is because Pluto is in Capricorn. And that's what Pluto wants. Pluto is looking for something that's going to have long-term sustainability. But in order to establish that, it has to destroy the current establishment and transform it. So a lot of you, this transit, especially those of you who don't have a lot of water energy, like say you have a lot of air energy in your chart, or I would even say fire, but say if you don't have a lot of water energy, if you don't have a lot of Scorpio energy, you may have been feeling moodier over the past 30 days or so. You may have been feeling more in your feels, as they would say, you know. That's because on a deeper level, we're having to go through this deep transformational thing. It's very much so Scorpio is very much so a subconscious energy as well. In many ways, like I said, deals with the spiritual the path, and really, you know, it's really also about, you know, our power, and like, you know, actually really acting on our power and really feeling our power, appreciating our power, because that's another thing about Scorpio energy. If you think about it being on the axis of Taurus, Taurus and Scorpio very much deal with appreciation and depreciation. You think about, you appreciate something, you bring it up. You depreciate it, you tend to bring down, or you bring something down in value. So you can, many ways, you can say that if you are, say you have a house and you want to build something there, but the house that's there at that moment, the structure sucks, it's just falling apart, its value is depreciated. So what you could do is that you knock down the house, you burn it, and seemingly you're depreciating the value. But what happens is that that space that is there where that house was, Now you can appreciate that space and bring the value of that space up, that building something new in its place. So in many ways, a lot of us are feeling this, whether it's in like a physical way, maybe we have moved, maybe we have moved from one place to another. This could be in relationships where you can feel that the foundation of your relationship is really is shifting, it's morphing to become stronger. Some people could have, of course, left relationships because they didn't feel the comfort and the security. They didn't feel that deeper emotional connection to them. Anybody honestly who has like, and of course, everyone's relationships are unique and different, but I'm speaking mainly as far as romantic. If you were in a romantic relationship this year and y'all have made it to this point, y'all are good. Like y'all really are good. I'm not saying that there won't be challenges. I'm not saying that there won't be things that come up that could challenge your relationship, that could potentially split you up. But considering all of the relationship stuff that we have gone through, and we're not quite done, but you made it through a Venus retrograde in Scorpio coming back into its home sign. You made it through Venus making multiple squares off to Mars. You made it through so much stuff, beloved. I don't think you realize it. I'm having to say it to myself, so I realize it. So if you are in a romantic relationship right now and you made it to this point, bravo, because you found someone who is really that's really worth, you know, just being there for, trusting, transforming. You have to realize that this transformation is any relationships, all relationships are going through a major transformation right now, but it's like it starts within. That's why Venus, even though it says Scorpio is the house of shared resources, it's also co-ruled by Mars, which is very much so about the self. So it's like each and every one of us had to dive deep, 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 deep within ourselves. And it's a trust. And love can be very much so foolish. Love can seem very much so foolish. It's like, I mean, you know, 1 minute you're with your guys, 1 minute you're with your girls, whatever like that, and then you have a date one day, and then the next time you're with them, you're just talking to your guys or your girls or your friends, whatever, about this person that you met and how they just uplifted your look on the world. They just uplifted you, and you're just like, oh my gosh, and it's so light and so fluffy. You feel like you're floating on clouds. Like it's very much so a drug. Like love is a drug, right? Love is the most addictive drug. Because love is the only thing that exists. Love is the most addictive drug. But this is a moment where we had to recognize that our love for ourselves does have to come first. And that is a hard lesson to learn. And that sounds selfish. That sounds selfish to so many people, especially within the spiritual New Age community, because it's like, yes, we want more of this camaraderie. Yes, we want more of this. We want the Earth community to really come together. We really do. But in order for it to come together, our love for ourselves has to come first. Sorry if you don't agree with that. Not sorry at the same time. Our love for ourselves has to come first. Now, there are people out there that love themselves and they hurt a lot of people, but they are very successful. Are these bad people? Not per se. Could they do things that don't hurt other people? Preferably, yes. That's what we would want. But they do love themselves, and that's how they're able to manifest things. There are people out there who have such great intentions and want to help the world and are super empathic, but they outsource too much of their fucking power. They outsource too much of their energy to people that honestly don't deserve it right now. There are people in your life that you are outsourcing your energy and your power to that honestly don't deserve you right now. That's what a whole another thing about the Scorpio energy is that it's a season of drawing boundaries within ourselves and learning how to trust ourselves and our own desires and our own appetites and having to work with them, having to control these temptations, having to have temperance. But it's also dealing with other people. So there's this whole, if there are people that you've experienced over the last 30 days where you just realize that you just can't really be around these people for too much. Maybe there are people that you see maybe 5 times a week, but the energy is just kind of toxic. You know, it feels like they're stinging you. It feels like you're stinging yourself, or maybe they're even like operating from the totem animal energy of the eagle, which in its positive state, it's about that vision and that being able to soar above the problems. But also, it's people who have a lot of that eagle energy, and I do, by the way, it's one of my favorite animals. Tend to have really big egos, and there's nothing per se wrong with having a big ego. It's how you fucking use it. That's why Mars is exalted in Capricorn, which is about utilization, right? So, like I said, there's nothing wrong with per se having a bad ego. It's how you fucking use it, right? um. So let's look a little bit at the astrology and stuff. I did write down, of course, some notes here. For in the moon this week, it's going to be transiting from the sign of Aries through Gemini. It started in Pisces on Sunday and entered into Aries on Sunday. And as soon as the moon came into Aries, of course, it trined Jupiter and squared Saturn. But the main thing that we experienced Sunday was the moon conjuncting Chiron at 28 degrees, which is my lunar return because I actually have my natal moon at 28 degrees of Pisces. So I've had Chiron on top of my moon for a while now, and I have felt it. So right now it's like I feel a lot of, and I this is also my fourth house, so it's like I feel a lot of the pain and that's in my family, and I feel and I'm tapped into a lot of pain of the world, and I'm having to learn how to detach from that pain so I can alter my perception on it and heal from it. And I think this is what everyone's having to do right now. But I have a unique perspective on this just because, like I said, my moon happens to be there, so my soul really is tapped in to the earthly vibration. And since Chiron is here, needing to heal this degree, what's being healed right now is how we manifest our spirituality, how we manifest our beliefs. And we can see right now that, like, humanity, we've come very far. We really have. We really, really have. And yes, there are parts of the world that still probably seem and feel like they are living in the past, but they're really in the present moment. But we have actually created a world where it is possible to feed everyone. It is actually possible to house everyone. It's possible to give everyone an education. It's possible. It really is. But we've kind of deluded ourselves into thinking that it's not. Not only that, but we've also deluded ourselves into. I'm thinking of this one talk that actually I was watching. I was watching actualize.org, and Leo was talking about spiral dynamics. And I watched all of his videos on it. Very, very fascinating concept. If you haven't heard of actualize.org, I highly recommend you go check him out. He's really nuanced and really knows the stuff. He's been doing it for a while. I've been following him for a while. But in this other video, it was like a kind of like a recap. And I learned a lot of things just listening to that recap. It's just things that you kind of know, but you don't really think about it. It's like a lot of times we think that other people in other cultures, whatever like that, we don't realize that they are actually seriously performing and acting and thinking under a different set of circumstances, and how we may criticize certain individuals or we may romanticize certain individuals, but not realizing that there are biases there, not realizing that there are challenges there, not realizing that these are just their circumstances. And I'm for one, I believe that we choose our circumstances. I believe that we choose our circumstances. I believe that we choose our parents before coming into this life. But there is still an element of this randomness. And since we have this amnesia of why we would choose these things, I think even if you kind of so-called find your spiritual path, you're not going to really know exactly why until you leave here, and then be like, oh, that's what that experience is about, right? That's what's going to happen. But while we're here, we're still kind of just we're in a dream, and we have amnesia, right? So we forget that we just happen to have been born into this role, this family, this country, this religion, this way of being. And they were born into that as well. And we have to remind ourselves that we would think the same way that they think if we were born into that situation. Just how they would think the same way if they were born in our situation. It's like if you take the most conservative religious person, in America, and you took the most conservative religious person in like Iran or whatever like that, with two different faiths and two different upbringings, and you switch their bodies, they would think the same way. They would think that way of the person in Iran would think the way that the person in America thinks, and vice versa. So it's like, is there any real difference between us? Is there any real true difference between us? Yes, we are all unique. We have different backgrounds, different stories and experiences, but is there any true difference? One thing I also realized this Scorpio transit for me is that oneness is a very radical idea, and most people, including people on the spiritual path, which is why it's such a hard path to walk because it is an everyday thing. Oneness is actually scary. Why is oneness scary? This means that you are one with everything, which means that you ultimately will experience that being, and you won't be able to differentiate between the fact that, all right, let's take this for example, all right? Let me just give you an example of this. You have a job. You see the same person every day at your job, right? You work in an office, all right? You go through your life, you live your life, you die. You and that person, you decide to flip roles. You live the vessel that they're in, and they live in your vessel. When you go into that vessel, right, and then you see that other soul in the vessel that you were just in the previous life, while you're here, you're not going to know the difference. You're going to think that you are them because you are them. That is the lens and the perspective that you're coming from. You're not going to know that in the past life you were that person. You're not going to know that until you leave here. And then, yes, I think there's kind of this, people remembering more of their past lives and stuff like that, and there's more of this spiritual mediumship that is coming forth. I think we'll even get to a point where you may even have like a bit of an idea or a clue where if you see someone, there may be like an energy meter over them where it's like, maybe I was them in a past life or something like that. I've had the thought that maybe I was my fiance Lauren in a past life and she was me. But while I was her, I didn't know that I was going to be me, like in this vessel, and vice versa. So that's kind of crazy, right? And if you really think about it, oneness is taking someone as a part of you, right? That's a radical and scary idea because that means I'm one with murderers, rapists, con artists, mass murderers, corrupt politicians, but also means I'm one with, athletes, like incredible, like the most famous, incredible athletes ever, incredible singers, firefighters, police officers. You are that pig that's being slaughtered to be put on your plate. I'm not vegan, by the way, either. I'm just saying, I thought this too, that I am the shrimp that I'm eating. I am the chicken that I'm eating, I even thought about from the version of plants, and plants don't necessarily feel the same pain that we feel it as too. But I do feel like there's going to be another dietary revolution that after the majority of the populace does become 90 to 95% vegan, because personally, I don't think, in my personal opinion, I don't think a 100% vegan diet for your whole life is good. I think that there will be moments, probably that coincide with the stars and astrology and different ceremonies, where eating meat is actually beneficial and it's actually a sign of reverence and a sign of gratitude. Personally, that's what I think. I think we're going to get to the point where we actually bypass eating plants, and that we will mostly just drink water and just take in energy. We will be more like breatharians or something like that. But then even then, we will have moments where we eat plants and we eat animals. This is just my personal opinion. But you are that spinach that you're eating. You are that kale. You are that fruit smoothie. You see how radical that is? That's why people are afraid. That's why people are pushing against. That's why people have definitions. That's why people define themselves as their race, their political party, their religion, the house that they have, their job, right? So that's another thing about Scorpio, where it does talk about these boundaries and stuff and these definitions. But since we share, it's the house of shared resources, we share these things. Are they really there? That's the weird thing about it, you know? And as someone who has, of course, the Scorpio energy, like I said, in the 12th house, for me, it's definitely, I have to go with the flow of it. I really do have to go with the flow. Today, like I said, if you didn't already watch the daily, we have the moon, which is in Aries. It's trine Mercury retrograde at 12 degrees, and it's going to square Pluto at 19 degrees later on today. We also have the Mars square Jupiter, which is going to be around, it's going to apex. It's happening right now, but it's going to apex around like 8:30ish or so tonight. So in a couple of hours. And this is, of course, there's definitely this want, this desire, and this passion to move things forward, to really act on things and really to initiate things. But we're having to be reminded of, where is our thought process right now? What do we think about our beliefs? Do our beliefs actually allow us to come into alignment more? Because, with the spiritual path, what you're striving for is to be more and more and more in alignment, right? You want to get to the point where a majority of the day you are in alignment, right? That's really the goal of it, right? The goal isn't necessarily to have that enlightened moment. You have to understand that that moment of enlightenment or that Kundalini awakening moment, they happen, but it's not, you're not going to want to just have that like all the time, right? You're not going to want to have that every day. Like it, and let me put it like this. It's like trying to have an orgasm for like over an hour. Like the people like who want to have that Kundalini moment, that awakening moment, it's great and stuff, and it's powerful and it changes you forever. But it's like at some point the orgasm has to stop. You can't just be sitting there and you'll just be like going. It's just gonna be so bad. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but it's like when you've nutted and she keeps sucking. It's so bad. It's so bad, and you're sitting there like, stop. I can't believe I just said that live on YouTube. I can't believe I just said that. Hello, John. How are you doing? Fascinating. You are right about our environments. What makes us different? I was just talking to people about this last week. Well, thank you so much for joining me, John. I really do appreciate you joining. And yeah, it's like I said, there is this weird thing where people like that moment of that enlightenment, people chase it. And then they want to make it last. But you can't make it last, right? You can't, like, you have to come down eventually. Like, you have to stop orgasming eventually. You can't just orgasm. That's actually a disease. There are actually people that have orgasms all throughout the day, and it's actually debilitating. Probably because it's giving away your life force. It's draining you of your life force. So it's like, you don't want to just be sitting there, like, just orgasming me. I promise I don't do it that way. But you don't want to just be sitting there orgasming me all day, every day, right? You gotta have moments to just chill. You gotta have moments to just be. So there are moments where you have that enlightenment, that Kundalini awakening, where you're feeling really super refreshed, and you have like this great epiphany, this great vision. And then there are going to be moments where it's just regular day, the chill day. But you find moments and you carve moments throughout that day to still give reverence, to still appreciate, and to really still be aware of what you're doing. Be aware of the food that you're eating. Be aware of the words as they're coming out of your mouth. Be aware of reading, being just aware. You'll still have moments where those are carved out throughout your day. And you can go about your day, you can be spiritual and still engage with things that you may seem as not as spiritual. And everything is spiritual. It's just like how I was telling Lauren how like, I can appreciate how I have the stones and I do the readings and the work with the tarot and the meditation and all that stuff. But then I can go right into just playing Madden on PS3 and not really have an issue with it. Or I can go and just start watching, like scrolling through Facebook and just looking at memes. And honestly, I don't even know where my life would be without memes right now. I really don't. Or how we can just sit down and watch multiple clips of Wild 'N Out and just laugh our asses off, or watch the React channel and just have fun. And while that stuff doesn't seem super important spiritually, it actually is. It actually is. It's all necessary. It's all here. It all serves its purpose. It all has its value. So it's like, don't be upset if you are on this path and on this journey. Don't be upset if you're not 100% in spiritual alignment. If you're not 100% wanting to do yoga. If you're not 100%, chill. Watch a movie. Like one of the best remedies I can recommend for anybody. You are not in a great mood, you happen to have a phone, and more than likely, if you're watching this, you have a phone or you have access to a computer. Look up pictures of puppies, kittens, and baby animals. Promise you, your day will be better. I promise you will instantly uplift your mood. On Tuesday, we have the sun, which is going to trine Chiron, which is going to bring about this great deep healing, of course. As I've said, trines bring about healing. They bring about miracles in the form of healing. And the sun is also going to trine the north node in Cancer, and it's going to sextile the south node. So we're going to have this grand water trine, right? So this is all, of course, leading up to this full moon that we're going to have on Thursday, which is really kind of Wednesday, like midnight into Thursday. It's like really like towards the tail end of the day. And like I said, like Tuesday and Wednesday are kind of low key days. Like I said, we do have the healing with the sun in Scorpio trining over to Chiron retrograde. We do have the moon, which is going to oppose Venus. It'll quincunx the sun. It'll conjunct Uranus. And it will also square the nodes, but it'll also shift into Taurus. So we have kind of like this interesting peak of this wanting to initiate an act energy. But then as the moon slips into Taurus, we're going to want to relax. We're going to want to rest. We're going to want to just kind of slow down and appreciate and just smell the flowers. So there's going to be like, we're going to almost like feel this healing. It's like, oh, I can do it. I can move forward. I can actually have this. I actually really do have this deeper spiritual purpose. I really actually can live these dreams. I really can do it. You almost like you get excited, and then it's like the door opens, and it's like, all right, let's go on the adventure. And you're like, okay. And you walk out the door, you walk through the gates, and instead of just bolting through like the fields, you just kind of sit down and you find like a very pretty flower and you just smell it. And a butterfly like lands on your nose, or like a bird lands on your shoulder, which would be really cool. This is very Disney-esque too, because this is, of course, this is also, we're heading into Sagittarius season, and Mars is here, so this is very much so Disney-esque. It's like, yeah, we can go run off on the adventure and really charge forward, and you can do that, absolutely. If that's what you want to do, by all means, go ahead and do it. But really, the energy, what it really supports is just appreciating the ability and the opportunity to go on this journey, to appreciate the opportunity he's like, wow, I do have this great passion and this great gift that I can give to the world, and that's beautiful. But before I like really, 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 really like just charge off, let me just appreciate things. Let me just be happy. Let me just appreciate. I don't have to. There's no forcing the issue. There's no rush. There's no rush. There was no rush. Like I said, this energy of like, the end of Sunday, Monday, and like the beginning of Tuesday. There's this energy of like, that's almost like kind of like rush into the dream or rush trying to make things happen. But then as the moon shifts into Taurus, kind of comes down a bit. You get grounded. It's like, you don't have to do that. Let's just chill. Let's just relax. Let's jump into a pile of leaves. The journey is there. Those experiences will be there. You'll make it there. Those timelines, you will make it there. It's okay. And this is not to necessarily make you complacent. This is not to necessarily be like, to be lethargic and be apathetic. This is an appreciation. There's a difference. It's a difference between lounging around and being apathetic and not really having any passion and drive, and being able to harness and focus that drive, but not allow it to just spill out over the edges, so that when you charge for that dream, you're not just doing things super, super off impulse, to where it could have been done better, or could have been done more efficiently. This is going to be a moment to really just start to appreciate things. So when the moon shifts into Taurus, after the moon shifts into Taurus, that's when the sun's going to trine the North Node, which is in Cancer, which is very much so about comfortability and security. So Tuesday evening, take time to just relax, take time to chill, to have a glass of wine, or if you're in a legal state, smoke some of your favorite strain or whatever it is. Just kind of chill, relax, put on a good movie. Get around, most people are probably going to be with family and friends now because it's Thanksgiving. Most people are probably traveling or already there. So have a good talk with your cousins, laugh, joy, and have fun, play. This is not going to be a moment where you really want to force the issue. Of course, talk about your dreams with your family. Talk about it. Get together, and build that energy up. But you don't have to be like, oh, I have to do this now. I got to do this now. I got to do this now. Like, relax, chill. You got it. It's okay. Smell the flowers. It's all good. I promise you. It's all good. Agree. It's the ultimate just going with the flow. You gotta go with the flow, man. Pisces moon. Pisces moon and Scorpio sun in the 12th house. Yes, and the funny thing is that I've always viewed myself as someone who just wants to go with the flow of things. But what I've learned over the past several years is that I very much so am stubborn, and I will go against the flow a lot of the time, and I have to learn how to actually go with the flow. Even though naturally I would go with the flow, but I've noticed that I also have this stubborn streak, which we all do. But I have this stubborn streak where I will just try and go against the flow, and I have to learn how to actually allow myself to just be. On Wednesday, the moon will sextile Mars at 3 degrees. It will trine Saturn at 6 degrees. King-Kunks Mercury retrograde at 11 degrees. And it will sextile Neptune by the end of the day. We also have the sun at the tail end of Scorpio, 29 degrees, making a king-kunks up to Uranus, which, as I've said, it's the awkward stare from across the room. So what's going to happen is that now that we have explored our deeper desires, our deeper wants, we are now about to leave the underworld. We're now about to leave this darker place. But the interesting thing about 29 degrees of Scorpio is that it's the darkest spot of Scorpio, but it's also simultaneously the lightest spot of Scorpio. So it's that moment right before the sun comes up. It's dark, it's quiet, and you can be a little jumpy. Things can seem like they might jump out at you. But honestly, it's one of the most peaceful moments too. There's a lot of edge there, but with this king comes over to Uranus, which is in Aries, we're really going to have to okay, we're going to have to be honest with ourselves. I was like, all right, so I've explored these deeper desires and these wants. I've established these new boundaries. Now, how do I actually manifest this? Uranus, of course, was in Taurus, which is concerned about manifestation, but it's retrograde right now in Aries, which has to do with the persona and ourself and action. This is going to be a moment where we may come to this realization that we may have to act out of character in order to manifest these deeper desires and these wants. But the question is this action that we're going to take, is it really out of character, or is it just a different version of who we are, a different character? I like to think of myself as a multitude of characters. I really do. I'm like a multitude of heroes. I really am. I feel like I'm a vessel for all of these different heroes. And when I say heroes, I mean like actual like superheroes, like super powerful like energies and beings. So with this King comes, it's going to be like, yes, you can have this world, you can have this dream, you can have this desire, you can, and like I said, the main concern, of course, the Scorpio transit was, yes, I think all of us experienced moments where we got a quick fix, but did it actually give us the joy and the blissed out feeling that we really wanted? Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I would argue to say that most of us probably feel like that while it was nice in the moment, it wasn't exactly what we wanted. Because, like I said, Pluto's in Capricorn wanting to look for long term sustainability. But Uranus understands that too, right? So Uranus will be like, hey, you can do this, you can do that, you can do this, you can do that. And you may be feeling or thinking even, you'd be like, oh, but that's not who I am. That's so out of character. And Uranus is going to be like, oh, do you want that dream? Do you want that manifestation? Because this is how you're going to get it. I was thinking of Archer just now. But so, yeah, that's going to be that King comes, which is going to happen like right at the tail end. Like I said, Scorpio's going to be right there. Hello, Emmanuel Chavez. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for sharing space. My fellow radiators of love, I do appreciate you all coming to hang out with me. Then the big day, one of the biggest days, we have Thursday, the 22nd, Thanksgiving. The sun will enter in the Sagittarius. The moon in Taurus will trine Pluto. It will quincunx Venus, and it will sextile Chiron at 28 degrees. It will also sextile the North Node, and it will trine the South Node. And then, as soon as the moon enters into Gemini, well, actually, it'll be around, the moon will enter the balsamic phase around probably midway through Wednesday, I would say. The moon will be entering into the dark moon balsamic phase. And then Thursday going into Friday, we're going to have this full moon. Now, let me just list off the stats of this full moon. This is happening during a dual elemental trine. We have two water signs, right? And we have a fire sign, and then we also have the moon, which is going to be in Gemini. We have three mutable energies and one cardinal energy. And the one cardinal energy is going to be the North Node in Cancer, because the other players of this trine we have will be Chiron, which will be in 28 degrees of Pisces, and then we also are going to have the Sun, which is going to be at 0 degrees of Sagittarius. So even though it's about a 2-degree orb, it's the Sun, so you can give it I give the Sun a healthy orb of influence, especially if it's going to be in a fire sign. It's definitely going to be a healthy influence. And then, of course, you're going to have the moon there, which makes the sextile over to the North Node and to Chiron, which creates the kite. And I'll show you guys this in a moment. So you have this dual elemental trine with two water energies, one mutable, one cardinal, with the fire energy, which is Sagittarius, is going to be mutable, and then you have a mutable moon as well. So emotions are going to be bam, 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 up and down, up and down, up and down. The only thing that's cardinal that seems to have some sense of direction is the North Node, but the North Node is subtle, right? And where is it in? It's in Cancer. So this is definitely going to be a very family-oriented Thanksgiving. But there could also be, I'm just telling you to be prepared. Be prepared potentially for familial blowups and for people people like different members of families having different varying opinions and beliefs, and now there could be potential blowups. But since this is during a grand trine kite, there is beautiful, miraculous healing that could come forth from this. So yes, there may be some drama. There will probably be some drama this Thanksgiving. But with the North Node in Cancer, it's really asking us of what's really important. Compassion, camaraderie, that motherly energy, forgiveness, forgiveness. Forgiveness is going to be really important. It really is. On Friday, we have officially had the full moon in Gemini. The moon will then, of course, as it's coming off the full moon phase, the apex of it, it will oppose Jupiter. It will square Mars, King Kong Saturn, oppose Mercury, and square Neptune in that order throughout the day. So it's still going to be an intense day because it's coming off of that energy of the full moon. But really, it's going to only be the moon that's making these aspects. The moon, which of course will be Gemini, which just means that emotionally we're going to be more triggered by our thoughts. We're going to be more reflective of in our conversations that we have with people and communication. And Friday can definitely be a day where there are going to be some conversations that you have throughout the day, because if you really look at the aspects, we have two oppositions, two squares, and the king comes. So it's not going to be. Now, you can utilize these energies to your advantage. Just because these are strained aspects and they are difficult aspects does not mean that Friday is not going to be a good day. It only means that Friday is going to be a challenging day. And Friday could potentially be a day where you realize that you and so don't have the same beliefs. Now, does that mean that you guys can't get along? Right? Can we peacefully disagree on things? You may also come into a realization, because you have to remember that Mercury is retrograde. You may also come into contact with people that you think would be, or that you may think may be of a platform that may be seemingly against yours. And what I mean by that is that you may project onto someone's like, oh, this person is probably this way. They probably think this way and support these causes. And this person, this politician, or this religion. You may find out that they are very much so similar to you. And they may not look like it. They may not look like it. You may, and we've all done this, where we may judge prematurely, and then we realize that, oh, they actually are a lot more like me than I realized. But they may not look like it. They may not look like it. And I'm going to give an example of that's really good for this in particular, that my mom told me this story of when she was working at this restaurant, how this homeless man came in. And it was like towards the end of the evening, right? And nobody wanted to take him. He smelled, he looked dirty and stuff. But my mom took care of him. She did everything for him. She, gave him great service and whatever. And this homeless man, which was probably an angel, or probably a very rich businessman, ended up giving my mom $100 tip. And nobody else wanted to take care of him. And how there can be people that walk into our life that may look disheveled, that may look discombobulated, that may appear homeless. We also have to consider that the North Node in Cancer, this is going to be a time where we are wanting to make everyone feel at home. We really should have homes for everybody. And really, the earth is our home. So there's technically no such thing as a homeless person. But we want to make people feel like they're at home. So it's like there could be people that will walk into your life really for this whole 18 months. But it's really like starting now especially, and it's always been happening in your life, where there'll be people that walk into your life that you may prematurely judge. But really, this individual will make you feel more at home. They'll make you feel more comfortable and secure, and make you feel the compassion and the camaraderie. There are people that walk into our lives every day that we may project a certain way we think that they should be. It turns out that they are not that way. Sometimes we're right. Sometimes the stereotypes that we project are right. And, that's okay. But we also have to remind ourselves to not judge and that everybody is doing the best with their given circumstances. Everybody is doing the best with their given circumstances. That includes the businessman who just had an incredible quarter. That includes the person who just lost $1 million doing some sort of gambling thing. That includes the homeless person who just can't seem to, be able to pull themselves up. That includes the person who just fell off the balance beam 20 times in a row and her friends are telling her to stop because she's not going to fucking get it. Everybody is doing the best with their given circumstances. So what is being, I would say what's being required of us, but what's being called for us to do right now is to make people feel more at home, to make people feel more. And this is also a sacred thing because it's also about, it's your home, it's your space. It's about sacred. Make everyone feel sacred. Make everyone feel divine. That's what this is going to be about. So, like I said, there can be people that will walk into your life that you may not want to take care of or serve in some way. They may just give you $100. They may just give you $1,000. They just may give you $1 million. They may actually give you $1 million, or they may give you an idea that makes you $1 million. So don't just completely shut people off just because they look a certain way. And we all do this, and this is all a lesson that we all have to remind ourselves of every single day, right? On Saturday, we do have the moon, which is going to quincunx over the Pluto and trine Venus. We also have Neptune going direct. For some reason, I thought Neptune was already direct. I don't know why. But Neptune goes direct on Saturday. The moon in Gemini, which we had to tell in the Gemini, will actually square Chiron, and it will quincunx the north node and semi-sextile. Quincunx the south node, excuse me, and semi-sextile the north node. Saturday is definitely going to be this day. Like I said, with Neptune going direct, this is the people who got the golden ticket are now about to enter into the chocolate factory. And there is no limit on how many people can enter this chocolate factory. Don't get it twisted. There's not a limited amount of tickets. But we've all seen the movie, right? Are we going to, this is dealing with the dream of life and stuff like that, and you might as well go for your dreams. This all seems like this is all really a big hallucination. Sounds crazy to say, right? But while we are in this dream, we might as well live it to the best of our ability and do the best that we can, right? So, like I said, there is no limit on the amount of golden tickets to get into this chocolate factory. But are we going to turn into a blueberry? Are we going to fall into the chocolate river and then get stuck in that tube, which looks so claustrophobic? Oh my gosh. I remember when I first saw that movie and I saw him stuck in that tube, I was like, oh my God, that looks so fucking uncomfortable. And sometimes it's like that. Sometimes we turn into a blueberry. Sometimes the spiritual journey feels like we're being shoved through a very tight fucking tube. And that's in many ways what Scorpio energy is. You gotta understand, Scorpio energy is like everything being crushed into a black hole and then being fit through a tiny, like I'm telling you, like microscopic. It's like so much of you is being pressed and pushed through this. So by the time we get to Sagittarius season, we explode and expand. Why do you think Jupiter is so wanted to go on the adventure and wanted to party? It's because it just went through hell. Literally, Jupiter just went through hell. And it's like that, like the energy when you go into Scorpio season, you go into the depths. You get all this water pressure on top of you, and everything gets pressurized and condensed. And it's for a reason. It's for a reason. You're a diamond. You fit through that tiny little tube and explode into Sagittarius season. So yeah, on Saturday, the chocolate factory opens up. And this is just a metaphor. It can be the adventure, it could be, whatever it is that you want to call it. But I'm just saying, I'm just using the chocolate factory as a metaphor. It's open now. And here's the thing about it: the doors are wide open too. So that means that there are going to be different people are going to go into the factory on their own time. But there are an infinite number of golden tickets, and admission is open 24 hours a day, 365 forever. So that's the beautiful thing about it. It's like that in many ways is a good way to kind of encapsulate the whole spiritual journey. Is that the door is always open and there's no rush. Come in when you're ready. Come in when you're ready. You have the golden ticket. Everyone has the golden ticket. Come in when you're ready. No rush. But also enjoy it. Also do good work. Do a good job. And just, know your worth. Know your worth. Know your power. Know that you are a super powerful, infinite being. You really are. I just want to show you guys real quick this Grand Trine Kite dual elemental beautiful thing that we have going on Thanksgiving, because this thing is going to be insane. It really is. Let me share my screen real quick. I can show you all what I'm talking about. All right. So this is just this was, I guess, when I started the thing. But let's just go forward. Let me get this to about. All right, so you can already see it beginning to form, right? Chiron here at 28 degrees Pisces. We have the North Node at 28 degrees of Cancer, and we have the Sun, which, as you can see, has shifted in to Sagittarius. This is at 4:11 p.m. on Thursday. And we can see that the Moon here in the balsamic phase is at 25 degrees of Taurus, and it's beginning to make these sextiles, and it's beginning to make this opposition. So as you move this forward and as the night progresses, you're really going to feel this just kind of revving up over the whole night. And then, of course, going into Black Friday, no surprise that Black Friday is happening while the moon's in Taurus. So this is definitely going to be a Black Friday where I would say the best things that you can get for yourself are going to be things that you really do see as having some sort of value. And there's going to be an element of, like, you doing something nice for yourself, even if it's something that may not necessarily seem I guess you could say spiritual. Like, I'm probably going to buy a video game this Black Friday. I'm probably going to buy a new game system. But and do I need a new game system? Not necessarily, but I can appreciate that I actually have the ability to get one. Like, that's amazing, and I'm actually very grateful for that. But as you can see, this kite is beginning to form, and then as we move it forward, 11:11. Look at that, 11:11. Bam! The moon has entered, and we have this full moon. 11:11. Ooh, make a wish on 11. Yeah. Oh yes, 11:11 p.m. Look at this. 11:11. 11 plus 11 is 22. What? You can't make this shit up, guys. You cannot make this shit up. This is why I love astrology. But as you can see, we have this dual elemental trine, and then we have the opposition. So yeah, we do have mutable energy, mutable energy, mutable energy, cardinal energy. So there's definitely going to be this, and this, what I see this as is that in order to get this kite afloat and get this kite going, we kind of have to look at these two sides right here, right? So, we have this support over here from the universe and the North Node wanting us to open up levels of forgiveness, wanting to open up and show more camaraderie and compassion for ourselves and other people, and really learn how to create sacred space. But what's going to require is for us to actually heal our spiritual connection, heal the bridge that we build to source, and also heal this worldly story, this worldly drama, this worldly energy, and us having to actually have the strength to move forward and to not focus so much on the wounds, but allow things to just heal. Last week, I really hurt my thumb, like really bad. Like I cut it really deep, and it's been a huge lesson. It still kind of hurts, honestly, but it's healing. And it's honestly just a really big lesson for me that I learned of how, we can cut ourselves really deep and how it can hurt. It can hurt for a while. It can even hurt like while it's like pretty much healed and it's to stop bleeding. But are we going to allow that to stop us? Are we going to allow that to, you know, knock us off our path? Are we going to allow that to knock us off our spiritual journey and not allow us to progress forward? Like I said, you got to understand the spiritual journey. The reason why it's a tough journey and why people either fall off the path or they don't necessarily stick with it 100%. And I'm guilty of this. It's because it is tough. It is difficult, and it's a humbling journey, and it is scary too to try and come into this adoption of oneness. It's actually scary. It's a dangerous thing to know yourself. It really is. But it's also the only fucking way. Excuse my language. So let me see if I can. All right. So, like I said, this week is going to be interesting because we do have a bit of this relative energy Monday, Tuesday, and then it kind of comes down Tuesday evening. And then we have Wednesday, which is kind of like a lull period. And then Thursday, it rises. Then it like spikes with this full moon, and it's super intense. And then it's like Friday, it's like, oh, we have to learn. We have to be changeable. We have to be able to go with the flow. We have to be adaptable. We have to allow ourselves to metamorph, to go through this metamorphosis throughout the day and allow ourselves to change throughout the day. Especially, of course, the sun's not in Scorpio anymore. It's in Sag. So do you have the ability to see your way out of a circumstance or situation that may not, be resonant with your feelings, that may not feel in alignment? Do you have an ability to see your way out of the situation? Do you believe that no matter how the day goes, you are still being guided and protected? Right? And then for Friday, Saturday, like I said, with Neptune going direct, it's almost like, okay, the doors are open. All right, the chocolate factory is now open. And the great thing about this chocolate factory is that the candy that you find in there is like fine tailored to you, and it's so fucking sweet. And it's just like it just melts you. It just melts you into your heart space, and it's a beautiful thing. But it's like, you don't have to just rush right into the factory right now if you don't want to. That's okay. Take your time. There's no rush. There's no rush here. All right. So let's draw some cards. Oh, let me just show you guys my new deck. This is my Line Straighter deck. I don't know if you guys can really see it. It's kind of cool because it has like this the ink block on the back, so it kind of makes me think of like the psychological implications of it. But it's cool because you can kind of see it. It kind of have like watercolor looks to it. It's like, see, it's a pretty cool deck. I really like it. I'm really very much so appreciative that my partner got this for me. And then I have this deck over here, which is a Zodiac Oracle deck. When these cards are just beautiful, super colorful, so you guys will definitely be seeing them. I'll show you my two favorite cards in this deck. My two favorite cards in this deck are the Moon card. I love this card. It's so beautiful, so elegant. I really do like this card a lot. And then this is going to be a little stereotypical. My other favorite card is the Pluto card. And I know it's like, oh, you're a Scorpio. Of course you would say that. But look at this. Look at him. This Pluto is badass. You can't go to this guy and be like, no. Pluto will look at you and will slap you without moving an inch. Like that's what this Pluto is like. Pluto will look at you and will slap you without even moving an inch. I love this card because it's packs such a powerful punch. I think it's cool because, like I said, we have this elegance and there's a power here too. Like she is really confident in knowing who she are. Look, she has those beautiful chi balls that she has in her hand and the wings. Then, of course, you have Pluto, who gives no shits, no fucks. He's about business. He's going to get it done, and some heads are going to roll. So, but let's draw some cards for this, and I'm not going to probably draw too many cards. This is probably getting on to a little bit over an hour right now, which is not bad, you know, it's not bad. It's about standard for what we do things here at Astro Phoenix. Hope you all enjoy the change. This change is here to stay. This change is here to stay. That's definitely one thing I can say for sure. Uh, Card that fell on the ground is actually one of the cards of the day. We have the Hangman. So if anything, like I said, this is really a moment where faith requires faith. Trust and just go with the flow and just like everybody's doing the best with their given circumstances. So yeah, there's an element of just hanging there. There can be you can be looking at other people and be like, why are you just hanging there? Why are you allowing this situation to rule you? They're just doing the best that they can. They're just doing the best they can. So have faith and focus on your own journey. Focus on your own journey. Help other people. Want to help other people, but it's like it's gonna be like when people really want your help and really want your input, they will ask for it. You know what I mean? We have the Wheel of Fortune here, though. So definitely some beautiful things can come forward. The Wheel of Fortune, and let's just look at this card real fast. I'm just going to look at it. Just kind of absorb the energies. It has these two birds here, which it almost look like they're doing some sort of mating ritual thing. So that's really cool. That's really awesome. And of course, it has the fixed signs around it of Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. So, and as far as fixed energy, now we're not going to have any Scorpio energy until Venus comes back into Scorpio. We're not going to have any Leo energy. We're not going to have any, well, no, we don't have any Taurus energy. And we don't have any Aquarius energy because now the South Node is not there and Mars is not there anymore either. So, and I have to look, I guess, of like minor like asteroids and stuff like that. But as far as like a lot of the main celestial bodies that we follow, we don't have any fixed energy. So this is actually kind of a reminder of just the vibration of those fixed signs and how really our power and this energy and this chi, because I like to think of the fixed signs as being like the chi, whereas the Cardinals is about direction and directing the chi. I feel like the fixed signs are kind of like the energy, like the energy of the element itself, and then the mutable signs are the element. So if I could describe it, I would say that, say you have, I'm going to use firebending, okay? Say you have a firebender, right? You have the particular motion that they have to do, that's cardinal. The fire that is actually the fire that's there, that they're moving, whatever like that. So they see fire, they move it. The fire itself is mutable, but the energy and connection, the underlying energy that in many ways is invisible, that's fixed energy. So now that we don't have its fixed energy, it's actually going to be less apparent, this invisible force. But the Wheel of Fortune is reminding us of this invisible force and how we are all connected to it. Every single last one of us. Every one of us. Including all the animals and all the plants and all the stones and all of it. It's all connected. And let's draw a few more cards and see what we got for this week. There's quite a bit of energy in these cards right now. I just got them and I haven't used them too much, so see what we got. Oh, interesting. Okay, so interesting. We have bottom of the deck. We have the Ten of Wands. All right. We also have the King of Cups, which can definitely be talking about the Scorpio energy. We also have the Five of Pentacles, and we have the Page of Swords. Five of Pentacles and the Page of Swords. What I see this as is that with the Ten of Wands being at the bottom, there's definitely going to be, like I said, we're going to be kind of feeling like we're carrying around a burden or holding on to something. And really what I see this as is an attachment. We may be attaching ourselves to thinking that we have to carry around certain beliefs, thoughts, doing things a certain way. The Ten of Wands here is saying that like we can even be attached to certain characteristics of ourselves that actually may be causing discomfort because we are changing, we are morphing, we are evolving. And the King of Cups is wanting to bring about this healing, wanting to bring about this compassion, but it's like we're focused on, our unfortunate circumstances. We're focused on our misfortune. But the Page of Swords is here saying that, we can think differently about our situation. We can think differently about this Five of Pentacles energy. It's saying that, we don't have to think that way. We don't have to view our circumstances in this way. We don't have to view ourselves as not having enough, of having lack, of not being abundant. We can actually view it in a way that is more abundant, where we actually feel the prosperity, that we can be like, oh, this is just setting me up for where I'm going, or oh, this is just giving me fuel. This is just going to add fuel to my fire. It's like, I'm hearing, give me your tears, I'll make fire from them. So it's like the King of Cups is wanting to bring about some great compassionate and clearing energy. And, some of you this week may have a really good cry. Some of you this week may have a really, really good, solid cry. It may happen right at the end of the Scorpio season, or it may happen like a few days later, probably Friday. But some of you may have like a really good cry, or you may have like a moment where you just have like a really good moment where you get really into your emotions and you can really feel things out. But are you going to focus on what you perceive as a non-complementing of your alignment, of your divine alignment? Are you going to be focused on an event or situation that doesn't complement it, or are you going to look at it in another way, or are you going to begin to think differently, or are you going to begin to silence your thoughts so that the truth may come through and speak? And I will draw card from here too of my zodiac oracle, maybe to see of a planet or an energy that we want to focus on and what's going to kind of come up. Let's see what we have here. It should be interesting to see what comes up. All right, cut the deck. So the card that we have the Sun. So that's great. I love that we get this card. So we have the Sun card appearing. So the focus is really going to be on our heart space. The focus is really going to be on our heart, that vitality, that joy. The focus is going to be on these final days of Scorpio and then shifting into Sagittarius. The focus is going to be how, like, yeah, we are being pressurized. We're being brought in. There is this pressure on us, but this pressure creates diamonds. And as we explode forward, as we come through this tiny microscopic tube of this 29th degree of Scorpio, and we burst forth through in the Sagittarius season, it'll be this feeling of, oh my gosh, I am alive. I am here. Yes, this is a dream, but I am alive. I am here. Yes, I can do something. I can do something. Just put your hands on your heart and just shout to the skies, Yahoo! Or peace, infinite waters, diving deep once again. Whatever it is that you want to say. Shout out to Ralph Smart. But whatever it is, whatever you want to shout out to the sky and stuff like that, there's going to be a focus on your heart this week. It's going to be a focus. Like I said, the sun's going to be making that transition. So hang in there, literally, with the Hangman card coming up twice today. Hang in there. Fortune is yours. You are infinitely abundant. You are an infinite being of love and light. You really are. And yes, you have darkness just as much as you have light, but that darkness does serve a purpose, and that darkness is its own light in a sense. And know that there's great healing that's going to come out of this week, and know that we are all really stepping into a new world and a new adventure, and realize that the gates are always open. You don't have to rush. It's open whenever you are ready. There are times when we're on the spiritual path, like I said, where we go through the gates and we walk a mile or two, and then when we take a detour. Then we come back to the trail, we walk another 3 or 4 miles, and we take another detour. That's how life is. And that's honestly how it should be. It's okay that it's like that way because it's perfect that way. That is it for the weekly astrology horoscope. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Thank you, John Street. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Emmanuel. Thank you for everyone who joined me during this live stream. I really do appreciate it. I really do appreciate connecting with all of you all. Love these new decks. They're really awesome. And also just really grateful for everyone who actually wished me a happy birthday and solar return. Um, I'm really excited for this year. And I know I'm still dealing with my own things. I still have anxiety and stuff. I still have some of these darker thoughts, like we all do and stuff. And I'm going to do my best and meditate and get the help that I need when I need the help and stuff, and humble myself and just do what I really can. Just do what I came here to do, which is to radiate love. I got that tattooed on my arm last Scorpio season. I got this tattoo which says radiate love. And this whole past year is about me learning how to radiate love and learning what that means. And it takes many different forms. It has many different ways that it appears. But I'm just going to kind of carry that on into this year, is to radiate as much fucking love as fucking possible. But thank you, like I said, so much for joining me on this live stream, and be sure to tune in. The weekly next week will more than likely also happen during the week, because this Saturday I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it on Saturday morning. But regardless, you'll get another weekly live sometime next week, either Sunday evening or Monday, which will probably be more like Monday evening because I start a new job on Monday. Yeah, so that's gonna be cool. But anyways, y'all have a blissed out evening, morning, day, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for joining me. And always remember, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love, always remember to keep moving forward, to stay focused, and Yahoo! Smile often.